Hello everyone. I wanted to talk about today I wanted to talk about a guy who passed away about a month ago. As a illustrator slash comic artist slash cartoonist that I wouldn't say I looked up to him, but he inspired me a lot as an artist. He died about a month ago, October 3rd to be precise. And just a few days ago I found out I think I was looking up his I just Google searched his name because I wanted to look at some of his art for fun, and under news, one of the first things I saw was that he passed away, and I was like, what the heck? Like, what happened? So it turns out he was going to a Comic-Con in France, and when they landed, he was immediately sent to the hospital because he was having chest pains, and apparently he died from a heart attack or a stroke of some sort. And I wasn't broken up about it, but it's just one of those things. It's like oh man, that's a shame. Like, I looked up to the guy, but that's not necessarily what this video is about. I'm gonna show a little bit of his art. Hopefully I don't get a copyright strike or anything, but not that it matters. But he was just a really talented artist. He primarily used pen and ink, which is what I used, and I wasn't inspired by him to use pen and ink, but he did inspire me to use a pen brush like he has right here. You can see it right there. It's like a brush pen that uses Indian ink, and he's a very inspirational guy, a modern master in my opinion, and I don't use the word master lightly. Not a hack like Picasso or Van Gogh, you know, those the mainstream approved. And you can say it's easy to argue that Kim Jung Gi was a system approved kind of illustrator guy, and I'm okay with that. Stuff like that don't bother me. It's all fractal approved, you know, whatever you want to call it. But what got my attention was when I found out he passed away. I looked up Google News, right? Because I don't really know where else to go for my news. So it's like I looked up Google News, and the first story was this AI generated stuff. And I had, for this video that I'm making right now, I have to specifically type in Kim Jung Gi AI to get this news article to be on top, because when I look up Kim Jung Gi now, it's gone. Like, I'll show you under news, it's just you know, artist died at age 47, yada yada yada. It just shows, you know, it doesn't show anything about AI. But a few days ago when I looked him up, when I found out he died, this was the first news story. This one on top of Lehman Lab, how you say it. AI generated art sparks furious backlash from Japan's anime, and it cut it off, of course. So I was like, what the hell is all this AI crap about? I was like, can we leave? It's like, it's nothing sacred. So it's like one of those things. And then I found that he passed away. And turns out that I guess it was, I'm not gonna read the whole article, but apparently people have been using these AI generation programs, generators, whatever they called. I hadn't dabbled in it. I'm not touching that stuff. But apparently they've been using it to mimic his artwork, and well, it caused an uproar in South Korea and Japan, and South Korea is where he's from. And it's just unbelievable. But this news story was on top when I first looked at it, and now that I'm looking at it now, of course, it's not on top. But this was the article in particular that I looked at, and I was like, I don't know. What immediately came to mind was that the AI was trying to, I don't know, and I know it's supposedly human beings that are doing this, but it's almost like it's working through people in order to manipulate them. Like, it has to emulate someone who just died, like, in almost like stealing clout in a way. Like, the AI, the fractal, is stealing clout from someone who's passed, a dead person. And it seems like it just can't get enough, in a sense. It's almost like it's a fractal. It's alive, right? It's more organic than we think. We call it artificial intelligence, but it's more organic than that. And I'm not really sure. Like, I've been wanting to make this video. It's been on my mind for the past 2-3 days. Well, it's been on my mind since I found out he passed away, actually. And it's just very, very telling that people are already making AI. They're already making AI replicants of Kim Jung Gi's art. I'm just reading here. So apparently this is putting a magnifying glass on copyrighted material when it comes to art, and the artists that are basically not wanting their art stolen. And all this AI crap is, it just scrapes the internet for images. It uses human beings' creativity to create something, creating, quote unquote. It needs people. It needs actual human beings and human imagination to create. So it has to scrap the internet or you feed it images, right? Something like that. I hadn't dabbled. I'm not going to pretend that I know exactly how it works, but it needs people to give it life. And Kim Jung Gi's death is giving it life. And this is going to seem, and it's I guess I'm taking a risk, because if somebody were to stumble on this video, they would think I'm being very disrespectful in a sense. And I don't know if I am or not. If I am, I don't mean any disrespect. I really liked Kim Jung Gi's work. He was an inspiration to me to get better at what I do. And I haven't drawn in about 2 years because I just kind of fell out of it. Not for any major reason really. I just developed other interests. It wasn't anything that happened really. I'm just reading the article a little bit. I'd stopped the recording on accident. Another thing that I noticed about Kim Jung Gi, I've watched a few interviews with him, and they're really, really interesting because he's never given himself like pats on the back or anything. He's always said, I've started drawing at a young age. I think he started when he was 6 or 7. And he would just basically draw a lot. He would draw what's in front of him. He would get his inspiration from real life. In this one particular story he talked about where he was in the military for 2 years, and he didn't draw in those 2 years, but he would draw in his mind. And the story goes that he didn't want, I'm going to show his art while I'm talking about this. I'll actually just show the AI stuff and see what comes up actually. He didn't want people that he was working with in the military to ask him for portraits of their families. He didn't want anyone to know he drew, so that he'd be left alone, basically. So he would, I'm not sure if I get the story 100% right, but he would sneak into the mechanics area, and he would study the mechanical aspects of vehicles and tanks and all that, and he would get right up to them and touch them and feel out the form and basically draw it in his mind, how they feel. And that's why he's so amazing, because he just practiced a lot. He practiced, and that's what I tell people. It's like, it's not magic. It's a skill you build. It's building up your visual library. And what I kind of wanted to talk about a little bit in this video was this idea of talent, which I don't think there's such thing as talent. It's not talent, it's skill. It's something that you hone and define. And I think that's the part that gets left out of the conversation when it comes to art or anything, because we see these masters like a Kim Jung Gi or a Mark Crilly, with people that I look up to, and we see them and we think that we can't get to that level. And to me, it's like this idea of talent, this idea of someone who's born with these talents, and it's such a ridiculous notion, because it's like really skilled people aren't gonna show. Well, it's bad taste to show. I think it's in bad taste to kind of show your sketches or your practice. Like, you're not gonna show off your practice to people, right? You're gonna show the end result, and people only see the end result. And it's not necessarily the artist's fault that people have this crazy idea that they're like gods of art or something. But sometimes it feels like this idea gets thrown out into the public, that it requires, like, you can't be an artist unless you're born a certain way or something like that. And I've always got that impression from people who I talk to, who they'll say something, a really retarded saying is like, I can't even draw a stick figure. It's like, well, have you tried drawing a stick figure? If you try drawing a stick figure, you might be surprised that you can actually draw a stick figure. You're not even trying. Like, you try. Good Lord, these cookies. I want to see this. Here's the the machinery, I guess you could say, the mechanical, more mechanical aspect. This perspective is amazing, by the way. This is insane. Anyway, but I don't know if it's like a fractal, a system approved idea that you're not good enough. You'll never be good enough. You'll never be as good as a master, like, I don't know, a Leonardo da Vinci or whatever. And I like Da Vinci a lot. I got a lot of inspiration from him too. You can call him a shill of the system. I mean, who isn't a shill of the system? I left a comment in Uncanny Deductions, one of his videos, and he said he talked about he was worried he was a shill or something to that effect. I'm not getting it right, but my point is, like, who isn't a shill of the system? Because we get people like, well, all of us, we all have to get our inspiration from the fractal. Like, we can't help it. There's no such thing as creativity. Like, there's nothing new under the sun. We're either stealing ideas from each other or borrowing concepts from each other. Even in drawing, in the artist world, I tell people all the time that want to be artists, like, it's like, I want to be good at art. Well, are you drawing? No. Well, that's why you're not good at art. You need to draw more. You need to pick an artist that you really like and just replicate, copy, do what they do. Like, watch, if you can, watch interviews with them. What do they say about the process? Like, you need to get into it. You need to take you need to make copy, like literally take a photocopy of their pictures and trace over it to figure out what they're doing. Put perspective lines over it. How are they working with perspective? Like, what are they doing that's getting them to that level, and break it down. You can break down these images. This is a 2-point perspective. Like, you can tell, I mean, it's got a little bit of fisheye lens, but it's like you can tell where the perspective lines go. Well, I can anyway. If you're into art, if you really just, calm down and get over the fact that this guy is a master, you can figure out what he's doing. It's not that difficult. And the other part is just the practice. It's just getting your arm moving. And that's just kind of the point of my video. It's getting away from these system approved ideas, this brainwashing, because I had art teachers in high school who would tell me bullshit like, you shouldn't be copying art, you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that, you should be doing this. And it was ridiculous. And that's the whole reason I got put off art for so long. Like, I thought drawing was this mystical, magical thing. And around, I want to say around the time I turned, how old was I? Actually, around the time I turned 30. So it was in 2013. I'm 38 now. So 2013, I was like, I'm just going to buy a sketchbook. I'm going to buy some pencils. I'm just going to start drawing. I'm going to look up videos about drawing. And that's before I really woke up, right? Quote unquote. And I took it upon myself to start learning. It's like, I'm going to buy art books. I'm going to buy sketchbooks. I'm going to see where it takes me. And I kept doing it and doing it and doing it. I almost quit at one point because I wasn't finding a muse. And I found a muse through cartoons. And once I started enjoying that, like, I started having the right questions. Man, this video is going on longer than I thought it would. I'm jumping from topic to topic way too much. This video's more about the AI and the fractal doing its thing, which is this. And there's a discussion in there somewhere, guys. I'm sorry if this is a little bit disjointed. Maybe I'll get my thoughts clear together. Maybe I won't even post this video. But thank you and have a good morning.